In Davenport, there is a search effort as we speak for 3 unaccounted-for men who were in the apartment they believe and may be in the rubble. They say it's a recovery effort. Family members aren't quite so sure, though, and they want to make sure and exhaust all efforts to find their loved ones possibly alive. We can all sympathize with that desire. This comes as officials are trying to explain why they didn't order people out of the apartment building, why they didn't evacuate folks before the collapse. As part of it collapsed on Sunday, 3 people who lived in the building, as I said, are still missing. A structural engineer warned that there was a wall at imminent risk of crumbling. Neither the owner nor the city officials warned people of that. City officials also said on Thursday they didn't order that evacuation because the engineer assured them that the building was safe. They've now admitted to a clerical error, an administrative glitch, and a person involved in that administrative glitch has resigned. I want to bring in Misty Marris, trial attorney and legal analyst. Oh boy, Misty, their priority number 1 is finding survivors inside that rubble, but there is a lot of legal issues happening here, and it starts with liability. Until we have a cause, there's a lot of open debate, but what do you see as the main concern for legal issues, first against the building management?
So as more and more information comes out, we find out that there were violations on the books. There were complaints. There was an active construction project going on 4 days before. And now, Marni, as you said, there was an inspector who flagged this structural issue. And we have a clerical error. Well, a clerical error does not win the day in any form of liability type case. So we're going to be looking at the city as far as the inspectors are concerned, where they city retained. That could be a potential issue. The building owner. And we're also looking for everybody involved in that inspection, the architects, the engineer. Why was there not an order to evacuate? If there was even a partial concern about the possibility for collapse, that report from 4 days before the collapse says that a collapse is imminent. Imminent. So those words, that's going to be used in the lawsuit as far as a negligence case, wrongful death, personal injury. All of these are going to be in those complaints, and we're going to see this play out against multiple different parties from the defense perspective.
And could it be criminal? Could people involved face jail time here?
It's possible. These cases are generally civil. It depends on how egregious in nature, and if an individual can be held responsible. It would be a criminal negligence type case, and it's entirely possible, but we can't opine on that aspect until we get that report, which usually comes from the federal agency, OSHA. We could see it from a city agency. We know lawyers are going to get independent reports. That's going to determine what the cause of the collapse was. And once we determine that cause, then we're going to see where the different areas of civil and criminal liability could lie.
The other thing, Misty, the city has taken its own legal action, this important step, issuing a municipal infraction to the owner of the building. Explain this step.
Okay, so they've issued a municipal infraction. It's relating to the building not being maintained in a safe condition. These are building violations. The infraction itself is only $300, okay? So a drop in the bucket in comparison to the damages that we could see play out. But it's important because this is an encumbrance on the property that stops the owner from actually unloading it, right? Because we want to make sure that we have everybody in place to be held accountable. So this is the first step in that process, and that's the reason why the city has taken this action, something that seems minute, only $300, but is a really, really important step in the ultimate litigation process. There's going to be so many liens against this property. Think about just the amount that the cleanup is going to cost, all of these lawsuits that we're anticipating, all of the property issues. So that's why the city has taken this step so early in the course of this investigation.
And I think it's frustrating. You can sense that people can relate across the country. If you are a renter and you have made complaints against a building or a landlord that you want things maintained and upkept, that oftentimes it doesn't happen in a timely fashion. This is a dangerous lesson learned here. What legal action do people have, whether they're in Davenport or Chicago or New York or elsewhere, when they make a complaint to make sure that it is addressed safely and timely?
That is a great question, Marni, and it's something that requires due diligence on the part of the tenant. Just because you make that complaint to your board or to your landlord doesn't necessarily mean action is taken. Well, there are enforcement actions, and it changes from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. In New York, it would be a landlord-tenant court. In other states, there could be a different entity that can take that further action. But you are not stifled if your landlord does not move forward with the repairs that are needed, especially when you're talking about significant safety issues.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.